Turn up.
We getting a party started?
She's here.
Are we getting a party started?
We getting a party started.
Oh my god! I hear the music and the vibes.
You hear the music out there?
Oh my god! I heard you and the music.
She is
Hello.
Heather.
Oh my god.
Allen.
Hello.
If you sit here right now and I ask you, do you have a budget? Is your emergency savings account set fully funded for 3 to 6 months and you can't tell me honestly that it is, then you need to go ahead and take a serious look inside yourself. It's time for us to have a conversation.
It's a long time coming.
The music for me. Yeah, it's definitely been trying to get you on here for a minute.
Absolutely.
All right. What's up, y'all? This is Brianna Moore, your host of the Conversations Unearthed podcast, where y'all come for me, but you stay for the guest. Today's guest will not disappoint. Oh my gosh, I've been trying to get her on here for a minute, but I gotta give you a fair introduction, even though I've been waiting. Your team been talking to my team, trying to strategize these things, and it's been crazy. But introducing y'all, Miss Heather Allen. This is one of Richmond's hidden gems right here, y'all. She is an MBA, a graduate of Virginia State University. Virginia State, stand up.
Shout out to the HBCUs.
Shout out to the HBCUs. She is one of the people who have really started to spark my mind about business, because obviously y'all know I'm an investor, but investing in business is two different things. And she has her own business. It's called Reality Savings, which is it's an amazing name, because saving is a reality.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's exactly where the name started from.
I mean, I wouldn't think about that name, going for a business, but like it's definitely an intentional type of name. So if you're ready to reach your reality, if you're ready to face your reality, y'all already know where to go. So introducing Miss Heather Allen. Woo!
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Good.
This is a blessing, just to be able to sit down with you, have these conversations, and hopefully pour into the community today.
I love it. Let's start. We're gonna start off real light. Okay. I really just want to know how you doing today. Like, what's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. It's been a great week. When I tell you, guys started my week off amazingly. He wasn't playing about me this week at all. So for the next few months, I'll be hosting here in Richmond some free budgeting events for the people to come out to just talk about their savings, talk about budgeting, get tips from me. And I had my first one on Monday, and the people that were in the room were not disappointed at all. We had some good conversations about budgeting, about savings, about debt, about money management, about generational wealth, and we also poured into ourselves. I'm very much a spiritual girly, and we sat in that room and were poured into, not just me pouring into others. We had people in the room pouring into us too. So amazing. Can't wait for the next one. But I'm doing good. Just riding off of that from this week. It's been a great week.
And you know what? I was one of the people in the room.
Yes.
And it was definitely a dynamic.
How was your experience?
It was a dynamic experience, because I mean, I talk about money a lot, but I talk about it in a light of investing and things like that, and usually that is kind of like the final step that people need to do after they start to really hone in and look at their finances. So it's good for me to kind of like go back to the basics. But I mean, the basics of budgeting are not very basic. However, you break it down in a way that is digestible for anybody to understand. So I think that sometimes we all need a refresher, and that's what he gave. And obviously, you and I are both women of faith. So, I always say, once you start to vibrate at a higher level, you start to attract that same frequency. And that's exactly what happened in that room. Like, a lot of people, or the people who came, were really intentional about their goals. We had people who gave advice. We had people who had questions. It turned into like more of a church like sermon. But like,
and I'm no pastor. I'm no pastor at all.
Right.
But when the Spirit moves you, I'm here for it. So if it happens to be in the rooms that I'm in, that I'm creating and bringing people into, then I'm happy to be there. But certainly being able to just break down budgeting. You started by saying we talk about money, we talk about investing, and we're always sitting around trying to build up, grow what we already have. But if you don't know the basics, the money management, the budgeting piece of it, if you're not able to do that, you are kind of messing up right now, because you're going to lose all your money. Well, I'm not going to say you're going to lose all your money, but if you're at risk of losing your money if you aren't budgeting, if you're just spending, oh, I got a good check that came in, you're going to mess up. I highly encourage, if you haven't created a budget first and gotten that piece done, let's sit down and do that.
Okay. In other words, book my girl, because you helped me do my budget.
I'm just saying.
I never had a budget before.
We got real about the real. We got real about the real sometimes, until you see those numbers sitting there and see how much money you have coming in and what you're spending on, or what you want to spend on, and setting those goals. It really don't shine through until you see it sitting there on a piece of paper and you see the numbers.
Okay, cool. So let's start with a. I don't even think I want to do an icebreaker with you. I think I just want to jump right into it.
Okay.
How do you help people shift their mindset from scarcity to abundance while sticking to a budget? Because it's a lot of people who want a budget.
Yeah.
But they say, oh, well, I got bills, I got kids, I got to pay my car note, I got to do this, I got to do that. I don't have it. Like, I don't have any money to put aside.
Right.
Like, what do you say? What do you say to those people?
Shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance. That's a word right there. First, I have to sit with them and help and get to understand what their goals are. What are they trying to get to? I'll go to me for a second. I'm very huge on taking my vacations, but I also want to dig my feet into real estate investment, and it's making those sacrifices. So it's me talking to my clients about making sacrifices and getting their mind right on, okay, do you want to meet this goal in the future, or are you fine with the situation that you're in right now? And normally, if you're coming to me, you're probably not okay with the situation that you're currently in right now. So then we're having those conversations, and it's not just a quick snap my fingers and yes, I've changed my mindset from scarcity to abundance. This takes time. You didn't learn how to budget. You might not have learned how to budget or manage your money growing up. So you have to go from there. We got to start from the beginning, and it might take some months to get you into that mindset of, all right, I got a future to plan for. So we're talking long term. We're absolutely talking long term.
And I think too, like, a lot of people feel like a budget equals a restriction.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's why a lot of people don't want to do it. It's just like when you tell somebody to, like, if somebody's asking how to lose weight, and then they're like, you know, well, I tried this diet and now I can't eat carbs, or I can't eat sugar, and it's hard to stay on task when you're doing something, when you're restricting yourselves.
Right.
So I guess what's another way to put a restriction? Because I always say, like, you can go, I think that going to the gym is a long-term goal. Like, you can't just cut everything right then and there. It's gotta be a gradual gratification type technique. So what do you like? How would you break that down for somebody instead of a budget sounding like a restriction? Like, what is a way that you can kind of like flip it over and make it more of a positive type situation?
So first, I just start with me. I feel like, and I won't toot my own horn, I'm a little vibe, so I like to pour that into my clients. So I get them more comfortable, relaxed, like, and make it a little fun. Like, let's talk about, like, obviously we have to sit down and look at how much income are you bringing in and what expenses, but this is your plan. So I don't really talk about the restrictions at all. I talk about it being their plan. What do you want to do with your money? What makes sense for you? This isn't isn't really about me at all, and this is not to be restrictive. Granted, how much money you bring in is restricted, very limited, but you can bring in more money. You're just gonna have to put yourself in different situations to bring in more money. That's a possibility, but nonetheless, this plan is for you. So I removed that word of restriction. Yes, it's a boundary that you have to set with yourself when you're looking at it, when you're creating your budget, when you're using your budget, when you're managing your money. But I try to remove the negative connotation that comes with restriction. It's a plan. It's a plan for you.
So what do you think is like the most surprising thing that people get from you? Like when you're in a session and people are like, oh, that was easier than I thought. Like, is it a light bulb that you see that goes off in people that you're like, yes, I got them?
When we get to the end of creating a budget, they're literally like, I thought this was going to be so much harder. I say it all the time. People look at finances and building a budget like math. And a lot of people in our community were very scared of math growing up. It was like all these formulas, all this 1 + 10 + 2 × 5. What is going on here? And then they're like, I can't do the math. I'm running away from creating a budget, from my finances, because of this long-term thought in their head from growing up. And while it is numbers, it is math, but it's your money. And it's simple math. We got too many formulas out here now, worksheets. You don't have to do it just by hand on paper. So I think it's always at the end that they're like, this was way simpler creating this than I thought it was going to be. And I feel free.
That's what's up, because you said people scared of math, but you created a budgeting sheet that you really don't even have to think about it. You just got to input how much you make at your job, how much you usually spend on gas, how much you usually spend on whatever, food, clothes. All you do is put it in, and your spreadsheet actually adds it up for you. And then you have a place for your liabilities as well. And so like it adds up, or I guess it adds into what you make from your job and subtracts what, your liabilities, like when you go to the store, when you go shopping, when you get gas, whatever. It does all of the work for you.
Yeah.
That's the spreadsheet that we use.
It's pretty simple, I would think. Granted, I'm the one who's doing this all the time, so for me, I'm going to say it's simple. But I think coming from somebody else who's used it, it's appreciative to hear that this is like so simple. It breaks everything down really easily. You're almost able to fill in probably anything you can think of when it comes to your expenses, because I made it very intentional for that, thinking of the common users and what expenses everyone has. And then it also shows you, okay, well, I have this much money left over. What do I want to save? How much debt do I want to pay off? And how much do I want to invest? So that you can really look into all those things.
Yeah. And then you also used to do, I know you don't do this anymore, but you used to do corporate budgets.
Correct.
Is there any similarities?
2025, we're bringing that back. Let me just say, we're bringing back corporate.
First of all, I think that's a breaking news alert.
It's a breaking news
alert. We'll put some bombs right here. But
I heard that the LLC girlies, and let's not forget about my men's. I heard that we need some budgeting in our businesses so that we can continue to grow. So I'm bringing it back.
Okay, so is this gonna be like a whole platform where you got like bookkeeping and
we will have some bookkeeping available for the clients.
Okay.
We will have that as a part of the package, absolutely. But business budgeting is coming back in 2025. We got some big things. We got some big things on the horizon.
You definitely got some big things on the horizon. And then another thing I want to get to is the kids, because obviously you love the kids.
Love the kids.
You've created a whole
I think Mama love the kids.
You created a whole deck of flashcards.
Yes. I wish I had them with me.
I know. I wish we would have bought them, but yeah, like
check out the page. Check out my TikTok page. Reality.saving. They're on there.
They fired. But I tell people all the time, I think that kids should have a investment account. I know we're not talking about the budget.
No, it's fine.
I think that kids should have a budget account. I'm sorry, a stock account. Kids can't have one, I believe, if you're less than 18, but that's when parents can get them a custodial account. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, when do you incorporate the conversation about investing in there? And are you educating about investing, or are you outsourcing that?
That is a good question. So investing. So I say this all the time on my platform if I'm speaking about actual budgeting and finance, that I am not a certified financial coach, and with that I cannot provide investment advice. However, that does not mean that I can't, while working on your budget, say how much do you want to allocate to investing, or hey, I use these platforms. All I can't tell you is which stocks to choose or which market to invest in. There are a lot of platforms out there. I'm a huge supporter of Stash. I love it. It's very easy to use, but I mean, I have several accounts with different ones. We were talking about the kids, and like I said, Auntie Mama love the kids, so I think that we have to start pouring in from a young age. And it's not just, one of them is building into the budget. If you're at that point to where all the numbers are making sense and you've got your investments and everything, let's start pouring into the kids as well. But it's not just pouring into them by opening up the stocks accounts for them. It's also having these conversations. We don't have the conversations with our kids enough in the community. Of course, it's not being taught in schools that much. That's starting to come up, and we can get into that in a few. However, it's having those conversations with your kids. Why can't you buy them what they want, everything that they wanted out of Walmart while we're walking around? Like, let them know, hey, money is not unlimited. It's a limited resource, and if you want food on the table and everything else, mommy can't get you everything that you want to pick up. Or explaining to them credit card statements and looking at them. So a big component of the reason that I started reality saving goes way back to when I was growing up, and I'm talking 3, 4, 5. Once I knew how to write and knew how to count and do everything on fingers, mommy had me adding up numbers and stuff. From there, my
mama told me it wasn't my business.
No, I was all in the business. I was in the business, and it paid off. So at an early age, my mom opened me a savings account. I couldn't have been more than 3, 4, like I said. But then she also gave me the checkbook. My mom's old school, so they still using the checkbook, but it paid off. The checkbook, y'all know, well, my users, my people that is 30 plus, they'll probably remember a good old checkbook got a little balancing part on there, just like a budget. Hey, this is my balance that I had at the start of the month. This is how much I done spent, and we're going through. My mama had me writing all that down at a young age, so I'm basically learning the fundamentals of budgeting, of savings, of putting money into the savings account. Was it my money? No, my mom was putting that money in there, and it probably was only like $20, $30 a month. I'm not saying it was like astronomical, but it taught me those fundamentals that we don't talk about in our communities at all. We just have to start having those conversations with the kids.
Yeah, I think that's an important point for you to make, because as I said while you were talking, my mama told me that wasn't my business when I started asking about money and things like that. But I also think that it's hard for parents to talk about that with kids when the finances are not in order.
Correct. But we also got to be vulnerable. At the end of the day, what you don't want is your kids to be in the same situation that you're in right now. So if you have those conversations that are vulnerable with them, it will pay off. Like, I'm a product of it will pay off. My parents were not rich. Let's be very clear. They made some good decisions that got me to where I'm at right now. However, we live in the hood. Like, shout out to Brightwood, shout out to Indianapolis, Indiana. No, but that's still where we live today. My parents are still in that same house. It's paid off great and everything, but it wasn't one of those big houses where we was flowing in money. They just did what they had to do and continued to save, and always told me about saving and making sure that my money was straight. So that's how we got here.
Okay, and we already know your track record speaks for itself, but I do want you to share like maybe a success story that you had with one of your clients.
Okay.
Like, how did that go? How did you help change somebody's life, financial life?
Ooh, so we were just talking. I have a client, and I speak on her a lot, but I have a client who we've been working with we've been working with for a long time. My best friend, Collie. She
Okay.
she just want to talk to me real
What's
quick.
up, best friend?
Yeah, we're not gonna pick up. We're not gonna pick up for best friend. She gonna be like, Dad, you just ignoring my calls. But nonetheless, I have a client. I speak on her a lot because I just love this story so much. I started working with her maybe a couple of years back. We did the budget. We sat down. We had those real conversations. At that time, I had like a 4-month program going on to where we set up the budget. We meet every 2 weeks for the first month, and then after that we meet once a month, and we were having those real conversations. I was also sending the worksheets out and having you individually answer those questions, and I knew that I had impacted her, not at day 1, day 30, day 90. I knew I impacted her a year and a half later when she called me and she said, I just got a lump sum amount of money, really because of something tragic that had happened. Unfortunately, she had a death in the family and someone left her some money. But I knew I had made an impact and that we were moving in a different direction because she called me immediately before she spent $1 and said, hold on. I know that I'm not supposed to spend all this money real quick because we know we get a bag real quick. We get that bonus, we get that tax check, we get all this money. The first thing we're doing is running and spending the bag, run that bag up. And she was like, nah, I can't do that. So tell me what I need to do. I said, listen, it's Christmas time, so I know you're about to spend a couple of dollars. But can we at least put some of that money up for taxes because they're gonna tax this gift that you just received, and put up half of it.
How much money was it?
It was a good chunk, at least 50.
50,000?
Yeah.
Wait, okay.
Yeah, we're managing the money. We're managing the money out here. So I asked her politely to at least put up half if she could do that. If she could do a little bit more, fine. But at least put up half after she cut the taxes out. I recommended. I'm not a tax professional. I have went to school for accounting. Nonetheless, the rules change every day. But I recommended a good 10% to put up just solely for taxes just before they because I knew that was going to come up. And for me, I just knew right then that was a change. That was impactful for her to just be able to know, hey, I need to talk to my budgeting coach and make sure that I'm moving in the right direction on this.
That's important. That's important for people to know. And I just want to insert my story in there as well, because when I bought a business, I didn't know who to go to. And I think that's a lot of problems that people have in our community is you just don't know the resources. You don't have the resources. So when I bought my business, I spent a ton of money on a CPA. I spent a ton of money on a lawyer. For them to tell me something that you told me, like after we were looking at the business expenses and things like that, you could have given me all of the information that they gave me. Obviously, you don't have like licenses like a lawyer does to advise me legally. But I feel like I could have at least used somebody like you instead of shelling out a ton of money for these other professionals who still kind of missed the book on a few things. So listen, I want to do a fire round of yes or no questions.
Oh my gosh, fire round. Let's go.
Fire round of yes or no.
Ooh.
All right. Do you believe everyone should follow a strict budget? Yes or no?
Strict? Everyone? No.
Ooh. Not everyone?
Not everyone.
Okay, this is supposed to be a fire round. I got like 10 questions, but
I had to listen to the words very intentionally before I answered that question.
Okay, what?
Strict. Once you've learned and gotten to the point where you're like, no, I understand how to budget. I'm at a good point. I can do this. You don't have to be too strict. You can learn to relax yourself a little bit. Like, oh my God, I don't have to be thinking about money. Whoa, we don't have to be thinking about money all day, every day. Like, all right, let me take a little step. But that's my advanced clients. Those are my advanced people that are like, all right, I got this figured out. I got this going. You said strict. There was another word. Tell me.
I said, do you believe everyone should follow a strict budget?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, no. I mean, it's the same thing with the strict. Strict and all the time, no.
Okay, well, I got more questions, but now I want to kind of branch off of that one. As a budgeting coach,
yes,
are you following a strict budget?
Am I following a strict budget? No, but I do have a budget that is sitting on my phone. It's in my favorites. It's liked. I looked at it. I only get paid once a month, which is, I don't recommend. It's ghetto out here. It's real ghetto being salary and getting paid once a month. Nonetheless, as a budgeting coach, I mean, I have my budget. I look at it. I know how much I'm putting in my savings accounts, the ones that aren't automated. I'm making sure to pay my credit card on time and do all of the things that you have to do. But I still pay myself a little bit of allowance weekly just to keep myself on track. But at the same time, I also have a fun account to where I can, I'm having fun this weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Let me swipe because I know it's going to get paid. But that's because I've allocated and done the things and set up the emergency savings and have the investments going. So I've done the things and I don't have to be as strict anymore.
Okay. All right. I like it. Because, when we started doing my budget, right. I didn't have a budget. And you told me, you were like, well, you kind of are budgeting. Like the way that I was doing it, because I do automate a certain amount of money into a high yield savings account. And I do automate a certain amount of money into my investment account. And everything else just comes out of my bills. Now, where I did go wrong is that I don't know necessarily, I didn't know how much was coming out. So that's where you help me.
I think for a lot of us, well, not for a lot of us, but for a good portion of society, we are doing the things. We're making sure the bills are paid. We are putting money in the savings accounts. And if you're not doing these things, check, you probably should. Nonetheless, we are making sure our bills are getting paid. We are putting money in the savings account, paying our debts, and doing all the things. However, we don't know the amount, so we've never sat back, just like you just said, sat back and seen, okay, this is how much money I have coming in. What's the rest? How much is left over? What's going on here and there? And that's really where we're getting messed up.
I got you. All right. Yeah. Now we starting to fire.
Okay, fire round back up. I mean, I
was interested in why you said what you said. All right, cool. Is it okay to occasionally splurge on something you love?
Occasionally, yes.
Should financial education be mandatory in schools?
Absolutely.
Do you think credit cards are more harmful than helpful?
More harmful than helpful. I think that they have. We're supposed to fire round. Answer the question again. Dang. Okay, ask it one more time.
Do you think credit cards are more harmful than helpful?
They're more harmful. I love them, but they're more harmful.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that. I'm gonna start by that one. Is it possible to save money while paying off debt?
Absolutely.
Should people aim to have an emergency fund of at least 6 months worth of expenses?
Of course.
Do you recommend using cash over cards for better budgeting?
No.
No.
Cash over cards?
Yeah.
I don't.
Really? Okay.
I'm not a cash girly. I'm a millennial all day. I am not a cash girly.
Okay. Do you think budgeting apps make a difference in sticking to a budget?
Yes.
And is it ever too late to start budgeting?
Hell no.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to this credit card question. Do you think credit cards are more harmful than helpful? The answer to this question that the budgeting coach gave was yes. You think that credit cards are more harmful than helpful?
That was it depends answer.
No.
However,
someone
made me give an actual answer, and I think that they have been very harmful to our community, for one, because education hasn't happened, which goes back to the fire round question of, do I believe that financial literacy should be mandatory in the schools? Absolutely. So the reason I feel like they're more harmful is because of that, is because of the education that we haven't received. This isn't 100% answer. This is it depends. For me, I feel like I'm out here earning points, paying the credit card, and obviously we talked about my credit score before.
What's your credit score?
Oh, stop it. What
is your credit score?
We range between 790 and 815. So the credit speaks for itself. Did you want to jump into credit for a second?
I do want to say. I got something to say.
Okay.
I got something to say. So when it comes to credit cards, I think that the education component is a very important part of it, because I don't think if you don't know what a credit card is, or you have never had a credit card, or you already in debt, you don't need one. Correct. So if you're using it for something like I do, like I use my credit card to invest in real estate, therefore I'm getting the points back. I'm getting the promotional discounts. I'm getting the 0% APR for 1 year. And a strategy that I use when you do have a 0% interest credit card is you can run it up on construction costs, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, people like to run it up on liabilities. People run it up on things that's not going to make them money.
Absolutely.
I'm running it up on something that I know is going to give me a pretty significant return. So after I get that return is already planned out that I'm going to pay off this credit card. My credit score is going to shoot up. Unless it's a business credit card. We'll get into that in a second. Unless it's a business credit card, because I didn't charge a lot on a business credit card and it did not touch my credit score. I had a whole house on my business credit and it didn't touch my credit score. That's a different topic.
A whole different topic.
That's a different topic. So I think that the education around it is what people are lacking. However, it's a business. So like a credit cards, they're supposed to make money on giving you money.
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to. Well, they supposed to do what they do. Y'all supposed to do what y'all do. Because if y'all signed this contract that said they were going to charge you 21% interest on any balance that you do not pay back, you are well aware of the situation and you gotta follow it. So I think it's all strategy.
It is strategy. It's absolutely a strategy, and it goes back. Everything for me goes back to budgeting. Put in your budget. If you know you got a payment to make a payment. I'm heavy on following at least the 10% rule when it comes to all my credit cards, of trying to keep all of my credit card balances under 10%, if not 20%. If I'm traveling, gotta make it extra, put some extra stuff on the card, I'm about to pay it off because I have a savings account for that anyway. But I try to follow the 10% rule when it comes to my credit card balances. So let's say I have approval for $20,000 on one of my credit cards. I'm not spending over $2,000 on that credit card. I already limit my mind to know this is all you have. I don't have $20,000. I might be able to say out loud that I have $20,000. No, I only have $2,000 to spend on that card. Does it fluctuate? Do I spend a little bit more than that every once in a while? Sure, but that's my limit. Because they say, and I'm not a credit expert. I don't do credit repair. I do help my friends out in the background on some peer-to-peer stuff. My bad. I'm a cusser. I apologize.
She a cusser. That's alright.
My mama don't like that, but
shout out to mama.
Shout out to mama, because that's why we got started. Nonetheless, when it comes to credit, absolutely that 10% will keep your credit score at a good spot. There's a whole bunch of other tips that I can give. Yeah, that utilization score.
I love it. Okay, another question that we kind of disagreed on.
Okay.
Do you recommend using cash over cards for better budgeting?
Okay.
You said you like to use cards.
Okay, so I'm speaking debit cards. Are we speaking debit cards?
Yeah.
Because that's still a card.
Yeah, we speaking
I'm just
cards.
not a cash girly. Like, I keep a couple dollars in the card just in case an emergency happens and my debit card shuts down. Can't use any of my credit cards. But I'm not a cash girly.
The cash community about to go crazy.
Well, they are, and that's okay. There are.
Because it's a whole binder that people made.
Listen, and there's some amazing budgeting coaches out there who will recommend the cash envelope system.
Go to them if you want to use cash.
Go to them if you're a cash girl. Like, I literally have had clients come to me before and they're like, and actually when I was setting up my business, me and my best friend had the longest conversation about this. She was like, okay, so what are you going to do, like, if people are using cash to manage their money, to spend? And I'm like, I don't think I can. That's not my clientele. My clientele absolutely has a debit card, and that's how they're spending their money. Because the cash you can't see. Cash just be, I got a $100 bill, and then you look up and you be like, where did this money go? How did I spend it? And
but they say that it's more like tangible, because like if you go into whatever McDonald's and you got a $100 bill and you gotta break it, you gonna think twice about going to McDonald's. Like, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to break my 100. Maybe I should feel
mindset is good. That works. I think I've seen it time and time again. Shoot, if I got a $100 bill, I'm gonna just be like, psh, let me just blow it, whatever. So you're not able to go back. For me, you're not able to go back and really see where that money was spent. And that's an important part for me, is being able to, at the end of the month, or when you get paid or whatever, being able to go back and roll back and say, okay, this is where I spent my money.
So you like a ledger?
I do. I like a ledger. That's me. That's just how I am. Nonetheless, I see the importance in the cash envelope system and using the cash and having it. My parents probably would say the the exact opposite thing. Listen, they love the cash. They love some money. But we also are talking about their generation they're now 65 plus, who they grew up only having cash.
Right.
It took them forever to be like, a debit card, credit card, you want me to have what? No, here's the real money.
Yeah.
So I understand that there's different ways to handle it and manage it and really get your mindset together. It's just not my way.
I got you. Some people argue that life is too short to stick to a strict budget.
Ooh, okay.
How do you respond to that mindset? Yeah, get comfortable. We'll be here for a while.
Oh, a while. I got stuff to do this Labor Day weekend. She's wild.
It is Labor Day weekend.
It's a holiday
Shout
weekend.
out to all of my guests that's been here on Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
Demetrius came yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You're here today. I think Kevin May is coming on Tuesday. Y'all are really cool. Y'all like
we dedicated
me.
and we like you. We cool
like
with you.
me.
I mean, we feel like this is a good thing for the community to give back. So
appreciate
yeah, I'm happy to sit down. We can do like a few more hours. I'm joking, y'all.
Because we'll sit here.
Listen,
and talk
check
about
me on
budgeting.
live. Check my TikTok page. I got a live scheduled for next week, so y'all can do that. 2 hours?
No.
Crazy. All right, where were we going? with it?
Some people argue that life is too short to stick to a strict budget.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that mindset?
There's a tomorrow. Everybody is not dying tomorrow, let's be clear, and you have a future that you're gonna that you need to take care of. And if you're on that mindset, you're probably not gonna be ready for tomorrow. It's just not gonna work. My God is preparing me for tomorrow, the next day, a year from now, and 5 years from now, and that comes with managing my money. So yeah.
Wow, that's a pretty big statement. So to people who say life is too short to stick to a strict budget, you say y'all not ready for tomorrow.
Hello. Say it again. Repeat that. That's a fact. I just want to make sure the world's here, the masses here. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
you are not prepared for tomorrow.
Wow.
Spend all your money today. What you gonna do tomorrow?
How you gonna eat tomorrow?
I mean, you'll be here. How you gonna eat tomorrow? If you spend it all. Is the mortgage paid?
Yeah.
Is the rent paid? Like, at some point, you gotta have, I know I said in the beginning, like, no, everybody doesn't have to have a strict budget. No. However, you need to have some type of budget to make sure that the bills are getting paid, that you're saving, that you're investing for tomorrow. I hear so many people talk about, generational wealth, we want to pour into. Well, let me tell you what they've been doing. They've been pouring into their people by doing the savings, by investing in stocks, by having the trust, making sure the will and the estates are put in place before they pass along. You got to think about the future. And if you don't have a budget, you're probably not actually doing that.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's an interesting conversation to have, and I love your answer to that question, because a lot of times I don't know what to say when people say that. Like, I'd be like, we done all seen Boys in the Hood. You know, we've all been witness to things that has happened in our community, that things that have been talked about in rap songs and things like that. But I think that at some point we have to realize that we are glorifying the struggle. We are glorifying the struggle. So when people do say things like,
but let me make a caveat real quick, because we were talking about the rappers,
and
we've had this conversation several times, that yes, we see the culture glorifying the struggle and also just spending, but y'all don't see that they have an accountant behind them getting their money together and telling them how much they can spend, and hey, here's your credit card, you can go wild out, but this is how much you have. They have somebody behind the scenes managing their money and making sure that they're staying on count. So unfortunately, a lot of us don't have all of that.
I got a caveat too.
Okay, a lot of us. Go ahead.
I got a caveat to that, because I think that you still need to have your own budget, because we've seen instances like Steve Harvey, whose accountant kind of screwed him over. Yeah. And we've seen instances like Fat Joe, who actually went to jail for his accountant not doing the right thing. He thought that his accountant was paying the taxes for years, and it wasn't. So it's
you gotta manage the people. You still gotta be accountable for your own self, because this is your life that you're in charge of. Or you could just worry about today and forget tomorrow.
Okay. What is
sarcasm?
Okay. Shout out to Glorilla. That's why I love tomorrow. Hey, what she saying? Ain't thought about no credit score. I might be rich tomorrow. Okay. Might and will. All right. What's an unpopular opinion that you hold about personal finance or budgeting that others might disagree with?
Oh,
Ooh. Rubs hand like Birdman.
Dang, I don't know. You might have to like cue me in on this one. I don't know if I have an answer.
What's
for
the
that
biggest? Wait. What was the question again? Unpopular opinion about budgeting or personal finance. That is a good question.
That is a really good question, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't have an answer for you right now.
An unpopular opinion. Probably an unpopular opinion. An unpopular opinion that I have would be that, and you have this as well.
Oh,
I don't think that.
I don't know yet. Hold on, let me see what she's about to say.
This is about keeping up with the Joneses.
Oh, okay.
Because we all want to be fly. We all want to look good, dress good, feel good.
Period.
But however, if you going out and you looking good and you dress good, however, house finna be in foreclosure or you ain't paid the rent.
You ain't paid the rent. It's the 5th, 6th, 7th, and you still out.
You out.
Y'all know it's the 31st. Bills due tomorrow. I know it's a holiday weekend, but
it's due tomorrow. But that's my unpopular opinion. I feel like you don't have to keep up with the Joneses, and I feel like a lot of times in our community, the kids are so mean. Like not just the kids in our community, but kids in general are mean. I remember when people used to go to school, not me. But
not you. Oh, okay.
But like when kids used to go to school with like some crushed up shoes or whatever, or like some clothes that may be old, or you got holes in your pants or whatever.
Can't do that.
They used to get made fun of.
Rude.
They used to get made fun of. You know what I'm saying? Or like, it's I don't know. It's something that I feel like in our community, I feel like we focus more on looking the part rather than actually.
I just had that conversation earlier this week with someone from the Latino community. He was like, y'all are spending way too much money on things that y'all don't need. Take a second and step back and say, do I have some clothes on my back? Like, why are y'all spending so much money on stuff? Like, y'all could be saving so much more if you stop and say, do I have food on the table? Are the bills paid? Do I have clothes to wear? Instead of, I gotta go buy me a new outfit because I'm about to go to, I don't know, I'm gonna use me because I'm about to go to Ghana and y'all know I'm about to have the fits on fresh. Like, I'm not talking in the mic.
There you are.
My bad. Nonetheless, buying the new fits for vacations, or I'm going to the club this weekend, so I gotta have me a fresh fit. We have to have a fresh fit for everything, and if we just take a second to look at those little bit of expenses that we're spending our money on, we could literally have so much more.
Yeah. Agreed. I think we both agree on that.
That's true.
What is the worst piece of financial advice you have ever heard?
I might mess some stuff up around here.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask my question one more time.
Okay.
And we gonna cut that part out.
Oh, hold on. I feel like I need to change it one more time. Yeah, now I'm messing everything up around here. I'm gonna just keep it right here and leave it alone. Y'all, I don't need to touch anything. Nothing.
Don't touch nothing else.
Okay, I'm just trying to speak into the mic. That's it.
Yeah. Lord Jesus. What is the worst piece of financial advice that you have ever heard?
The worst piece of financial advice. Don't budget, plug.
Reality savings. www.realitysavings.com.
That's it. Outside of that, worst piece of financial advice. Stop co-signing for people that y'all don't know. Let's do that.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. We gotta stop co-signing. We gotta stop co-signing. If it's not your partner, maybe your mama and daddy, or your child.
Maybe.
Maybe
your mama and daddy.
I'm a real stickler. The mama and daddies was putting your social security number on the electricity, on the utility bills back in the day. So you gotta take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if you should co-sign for everybody. Like, you gotta be really careful, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be responsible for this debt, and you're gonna have to pay it. Do you have the resources? You can co-sign if you are going to have the resources to pay it if something happens to that person, which is literally what you're saying when you sign the contract to say, yep, I'll co-sign, I'll put my information down. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think there are instances where we absolutely should co-sign on things, because that will be building our community up. That's how a lot of other ethnicities are building their community up. I think the first thing that it starts with is we need to have a conversation on financial literacy, on managing our money, and are we on the same page? Because a lot of times we're just co-signing, but we're not having the fundamental conversations in the household as a community first.
That's a good point for you to make, because I had a situation when I was growing up. I think I was in high school or something, and one of my family members wanted to get a new car.
Right.
And I had my car, but I took her to the dealership to get a car. And the guy, oh my gosh, such a nice man, nice looking, handsome man, very articulate. And my cousin couldn't qualify for the car. So I'm sitting next to her. He was like, very demure. Very demure. He was like, well, your cousin can co-sign for you.
Yeah.
And just imagine, like, you being I'm in high school at this point. Thank God I had a little bit of knowledge about co-signing before this happened. But, like, it's a nice guy saying, oh yeah, you can just put your signature here. I would have not known that would have reported to my credit card company. Mm-hmm. It would have affected my credit score if I would have co-signed for this family member. I don't think that she knew it either. So yeah. I asked the man straight up, because me and my mama had this conversation a day prior, which is crazy. But I asked the man, I was like, well, in just my little high school big glasses, pigtails, I'm like, well, if she doesn't pay, won't that affect my score? And he looked at me like,
wait a minute, hold on.
How do you know?
He was trying to trick you that day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's predatory. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like, that's what a lot of these companies are doing.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Mama was giving the gem. She was like, listen, I know how you little girls be out here being in love and whatnot, and she said, you can be in love all you want, mm-hmm. but what you're not going to do is mess up this credit that I done built for you over the time, because let's be clear, shout out to my mama, that's why my credit is so good right now, and I was able to, obviously, as an adult, maintain it, but that was one thing before I left home that she was like, no, we're not doing that.
So these skills start at home.
Oh, they start at home. That's why I said in the beginning, you gotta start having these conversations with your kids. I know they taboo. I know we don't want to have these conversations, but you gotta talk to them. Because if not,
how do we normalize it though? Like,
how do we normalize it? We just start having the conversations. Yeah. Like, you just start talking about it. You just sit down like, oh, we're at Starbucks. I take my niece to Starbucks and stuff. Mm-hmm. We're at Starbucks. Like, we gotta start talking about it. Like, you know how much this costs? You know how much mommy make? Like, all of those things, they don't have to be taboo. Listen, I do this. I'm a project manager. I make this much a year. This is how much I bring home. These are my bills. They're easy conversations. The kids understand exactly what you're saying. They're not ignorant. They know how to scroll on TikTok and do everything else. Why can't we talk about money? I don't understand.
How important is financial independence to you in a relationship?
Very important. Like, it's top conversation. We need to be able to,
we talking about credit scores on the first date.
First date is crazy, okay? Can we have a little laughter and enjoy ourselves first?
So no
first date is crazy, but by the third date, yeah, I probably have brought up money and talked about credit score. I don't have to go deep into the conversation, but I at least want to make sure that we're on the same page financially. You're not just swiping on me just to, make me feel a little good. Like, no, what's the important conversations? Because I'm out here dating for marriage, and if we're not having those conversations, and sitting down and saying, okay, listen, this is how much I got. Not to say that these are like, I'm not telling you how much money I have in the bank immediately, but do you understand the importance of a credit score? Like, are you in a lot of debt? Like, what's that looking like? Like, what's T? If you give me that look when I ask that question, like, we gotta talk about this, that means that it's probably something deeper, and I don't even have to ask anything else right then. I already know
so it's something over. It's over for them.
It might not be over for them, but it's also a mindset thing. Like, if we're sitting here having a conversation, we're talking about real estate investment and stuff of that sort, then I already know where your mind is at. So it doesn't have to be specifically about, oh, this is how much money I have in my bank. It's conversations that lead to that.
So how are we handling disagreements about money with a partner? Like, because, and I want to ask this because most of the the number one reason why people get divorced is because of money.
Absolutely.
So how are we handling these disagreements? Like, is it, I guess just a question. How do you handle disagreements about money with a partner?
I think if it's your partner, then communication is one of those top things in a relationship. So you need to talk. The power of the tongue. Have a conversation, but be respectful. Be willing. If you're not able to sit down and talk to your partner about everything, including finances, then reconsider. Sit with yourself, journal, and figure out what is blocking me from feeling free enough to talk to my partner about money management, about our finances. Hey, I missed a payment, or you missed a payment. What are we going to do about this, and how can we improve this in the future? So if you're not ready to have those conversations with your partner, are you really ready to be with this person? And those are just tough questions that you got to ask yourself.
Yeah. What impact do you hope to have on the people you coach?
On the people I coach?
On the people you coach.
Just to put them in a better mindset, better space. I want them to look up 3, 6 months, a year, 5 years from now and be like, I am so glad that I got out of my head and actually asked for help, and that made an impact for me. Like I said, something happened to the phone. None of
We're going to take a break. First,
what did I do?
Part done.
Oh, okay.
You good?
What did I do?
Nothing.
Okay, we'll come back to that question. Jesus.
What you think so far?
It's fine.
Verify. Oh, we had 4 people watching too. Dang.
It's okay. Is it gonna come back?
Yeah, but I gotta verify this to continue.
Oh.
Alright, we back. Alright.
We back? We back
on live.
Hey, y'all.
We back on live.
Hey, y'all. We had to take a brief break. We
had to take a
commercial break out here.
Commercial break.
I still don't. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm
you
speaking
sound
this.
good to me.
Are you sure? Because you said I wasn't.
Yeah, no. It was when you had leaned over that way.
Oh, okay. I want to be leaned over
like
here
that
and whatnot, but like.
So I gotta. Oh, okay. You want? Oh Lord.
Yeah. See, that's where
I told you not to touch nothing.
I know, y'all. I know. Listen, I just be talking, podcasting, my thing. I'm joking. I'm doing fine. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
I don't know if I move. You know, I be doing a lot out here.
Bloopers.
Bloopers.
Shout out to the bloopers. Where's the videographer? Oh.
Edit produces.
Where's the producer?
Video. I mean, doesn't
matter. Producing, editing.
Does it all. Let's talk.
We booking the guests.
Let's talk booking. Sending the invites. Doing everything.
All right, let's finish this up so we can
go have some fun.
Get ready to go to the big cookout. I know. We're gonna wrap it up. Are you ready? And we are back. We had to tweak a few things. I got my guest trying to be the set producer as well, so we had to get a few things together. But what was that last question that I asked you? What impact do you hope to have on the people that you coach?
Right, Dag, where did I leave off? I don't even know where I left off.
You said you were saying you was spitting. You were spitting.
I just want them to really see in some years the impact that of them just asking for help brought on their life, because like we mentioned earlier, money is so taboo in our families and in our families and our communities, to where we don't talk about it. Having those conversations and being vulnerable enough with me so that I can help pour into you is really the impact that I want to leave on them, and then for me to also say, hey, pour this into your kids as well, if you have kids and your family members around you.
Iron sharpens iron.
It does.
I love that. Okay. Do you have a personal motto or philosophy that guides your approach to budgeting and life in general?
Oh, life in general, my personal motto, and it's not just about budgeting, is an African proverb. It is each one teach one, each one reach one, until all are taught. So very powerful, very powerful. I believe that we learn from each other. So obviously I pour into people about budgeting and probably a whole bunch of other things. But I believe if we teach someone, they can teach someone else, and then it builds a community around things. So yeah.
I love it. Where can our listeners find you and connect with you for your services?
Oh, so I am available on Instagram, on TikTok at reality.saving. I think I spelled it in the beginning, but REALITY.saving. That's me. My website is www.realitysaving.com. Very simple, very easy to find me. Go look us up. Go share us.
Okay. You got any events coming up?
We do. Thank you for asking. Oh my God, I'm so excited for the next one. So I think we have 2 coming up already on the books. We have September 12th. That is a Thursday. Same Q&A as we had a few days ago, earlier this week. And then we have October 26th. That is a Saturday. The people asked for a Saturday.
The people asked for a Saturday?
They were in my DMs. They were in my business DMs like, hey, I need a Saturday because I want to show up. I want to be there. We have it booked. October 26th, a Saturday. I believe we're going to get started at maybe 10 or 11. I don't have that quite set, but we are getting there. But what we're really rumming up for, let me tell you what we're really rumming up around here for. April 5th, 2025. Woo! We are ready and building, and I got something in store for y'all. So April 5th, 2025, as a part of Financial Literacy Month, we will be organizing a summit here in Richmond, Virginia area, because I'm not just talking about it, I'm about to be about it. We have got to pour into the community. We have got to have these conversations, and we have got to come out of this in a better space. So I am organizing. I am ready. I cannot wait for the people to be in the building so that we can really just have the conversations.
Okay, and I also have to say, too, it's the last day of April, it's the last day of August. It's the last day of August. August is National Black Business Month.
Yes.
I just want to say this is y'all's opportunity to support a black business.
Yes.
The reason why you and I are having a summit in April of 2025 is because April is National Financial Literacy Month.
Yep.
These are things that you guys should know to be prepared for, because the month is fun-filled with a lot of different ways to completely change your life. Your time is yours. Like, you shouldn't have to clock in order to, make some money. You should be able to have passive income and have it work for you. So thank y'all so much for listening. Thank you, Heather Monique.
Yes,
Allen, for sharing. Yeah, thank you for sharing your insights. I know, like I said, I was at your last budgeting event, and
thank you for your support.
Yeah, for sure. And somebody who you didn't even know came in and spoke some very good life into you. Do you mind if I share with the people what he said?
You can share with the people.
I'm gonna share with the people.
I'm not scared of the vision. I'm not scared of the vision, so let's go.
The vision is big, y'all. So I just wanted y'all to know, y'all seen her on my podcast first, on my live first, because somebody told Heather that they see her in arenas speaking to multiple people about budgeting, and they also quantified it. They said you're going to be making $100,000 an hour just to speak to people about budgeting, because you do have a dynamic vision, you have a very inspirational tone, and you actually care about this. And when you care about something, it comes off way differently. So for our listeners looking to take control of their finances, please consider reaching out to Ms. Heather Allen to start your budgeting journey. Stay tuned for our next episode. Remember, budgeting is not just about redirecting yourself, it's about creating freedom and peace of mind. Until next time, strive towards financial well-being, and we'll check you out soon.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.